After Russia invaded Ukraine, thousands of the world's biggest brands began a boycott of the country in protest. So how are people still buying Big Macs in Moscow and iPhones in St. Petersburg? Here are 3 ways Russians are still getting their hands on Western goods. As some Western companies left altogether, others changed hands. McDonald's sold its more than 800 restaurants to a local franchise owner and got a new name, but a very familiar menu. Their Grand Burger looks a lot like a Quarter Pounder. The new owner used to run McDonald's stores in Siberia, but a BBC Russian investigation found he was likely backed by investors that are under US sanctions. Other Russian copycats quickly filled the vacuum left by Western countries. Crunchy Dream, for example, replaced Krispy Kreme, and Dobbly Cola filled the gap left by Coca-Cola. The trend wasn't limited to Russian firms either. International players also showed interest. When Zara left, Lebanese-owned fashion brand MAG came in, and with the departure of IKEA, Belarusian brand Sweet House entered the Russian market with similar-looking products. Turkish brands are also booming since the war started. Meanwhile, the Russian government saw an opportunity to enforce tough exit rules on foreign companies. This meant they had to sell their assets at lower prices and cough up billions of dollars, which was dubbed the exit tax. This created an environment where it was possible for many of these foreign assets to end up in the hands of people close to President Putin. Starbucks was bought by a Russian rapper called Timothy, and the chain of 130 coffee shops has been rebranded as Stars Coffee. Timothy is a vocal supporter of the Russian president, and he even had a hit song called My Best Friend is Vladimir Putin. But some media reports suggest he's likely a frontman for sanctioned Russian Senator Arsen Kanakov. Many Russian oligarchs lost a lot of money due to international sanctions, and perhaps providing them with an opportunity to recoup some of those losses was a way that Mr. Putin could keep them happy and loyal. Some companies pulled out of Russia quickly, but others lost control of their assets. Danish beer company Carlsberg found a buyer, but the Russian state swooped in to seize control of its stake in a local brewer, Baltica. The owners of Citroën, on the other hand, halted all Russian production in 2022. But their Russian plants then started assembling new versions of Citroën models by importing car kits manufactured in China. Citroën owner Stellantis still legally owns its Russian assets, but says it has lost control of its operations. When war broke out, Apple moved quickly to suspend all official exports, but Russians can still buy a new iPhone or MacBook. Retailers source and sell Apple products through a practice called parallel importing. That's when products are imported from another country without a company's permission. The Russian government legalized parallel importing in 2022 to combat isolation by the West. Russian retailers have since established a network of alternative supply chains to funnel Western goods through former Soviet countries and others like the UAE and China. All of these might have kept shops and factories running and made things feel normal. In a statement, the Russian government told the BBC that the country is committed to cooperating with foreign companies that remain in Russia, insisting that commercial ties are never politicized. Russia blames the West for forcing some businesses to leave and described its response to sanctions as carefully calibrated, focusing on building mutually beneficial commercial relations. But the future might not look so good. The Russian economy is losing billions of dollars in investment and is becoming more reliant on military spending, the state, and neighbouring countries. So while it looks like business as usual from the outside, the question is, how long will it last?